do want to tell one little quick story before we start. So I don't know if any of you've noticed, but Chris Hardwick mentioned that on Twitter when he found out that we moved it to Hall H. He kind of gave a mention, basically, hey, if you guys need a moderator, let me know, because obviously Chris Hardwick does a lot of panels in here. And by the name tag, I'm guessing you guessed what they told him. So with that, I know we're really excited for Niantic to be here, so let's get it going. And with that, I'm going to introduce the moderator for most panels in Hall H. And there's a reason why, Mr. Chris Hardwick.
That is the kind of passion, I'm telling you, at this point at Comic-Con, usually people are like, where am I? But you guys are focused. I am so excited. It's true, I did tweet at John Hanke when I found out that they got bumped up to Hall H. I've been playing Pokemon since the app came out. I'm happy to announce I just passed level 18 today. I am honored to be here and thrilled. There's a lot we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Ingress. We'll talk about stuff that's coming up in Pokemon. We're going to reveal some things to you. And so I'm glad you're here, and I'm very honored to introduce to the stage the head of Niantic, John Hanke! This is so odd. It's just you and me and then like 50 chairs all the way down at the end there. So let's talk a little bit. Everyone, this is the reason you have Pokemon Go in your hands.
Thank you.
So, John, who are you and where did you come from?
Hey, before we get to that, I just want to thank all of you players out there. We were supposed to give a little presentation in a very small room, and after you guys embraced the game and let everybody know that you liked it, we got invited to be here in this amazing room with all of you. So thank you guys for having us here. I have not been involved in making video games for most of my career. I spent 10 years at Google. I co-founded a company a little over 10 years ago called Keyhole with some brilliant individuals, Phil Kesslin, Chikayo Ozama, Mark Aubin, a number of others, and that created this, we created an application called the Earth Viewer. And that company was acquired by Google back in 2004. We relaunched that product as Google Earth, and I had the really wonderful opportunity to help build out Earth and Maps and Street View and that set of products at Google for about 7 years with tremendous support from Larry and Sergey and Eric, and it was one of the most fun, amazing periods of my life. But after having done that for a number of years, I wanted to try something different, and as somebody who grew up with video games, every time I looked at a map, and for a lot of other people too, you sort of kind of imagine it as a game, at least we did. So we decided to start up a group inside of Google, kind of a little skunkworks thing. We called it Niantic, and we wanted to experiment with mobile phones and mapping and discovery of new places and gaming and see if we could mix those ideas together and come up with something interesting. So that's what we've been doing.
And so what is the origin of Niantic? What is the name? What does it mean?
Yeah, so Niantic, it was kind of a code word in the beginning. No one was really supposed to understand what it meant. But our whole thing was, there's a ton of interesting information about what's out there. All the little hidden secrets and cool things about the city you live in or your neighborhood. It's all out there on the internet, and sometimes it's really hard to get to. So we wanted to build applications that would help you find these kind of neat little nuggets. Like in my case, Mark Twain visited the park in the little neighborhood that I live, and it's on a little historical marker that nobody reads. So it was this sort of secret, undiscovered information. So the Niantic is actually kind of a secret in San Francisco. It was a whaling ship that came to San Francisco during the gold rush. At that time, everybody was like flooding to San Francisco to go find gold, and nobody was leaving, so these ships were just like piling up in the harbor. And the Niantic was one of those, and they dragged it on shore because they didn't have any lumber to build stuff out of. So they used the ship for, it was a hotel, it was a bar, I think it was a brothel at one point. It had this really kind of interesting history to it. And then modern day San Francisco got built up on top of these old ships. So it's actually buried underneath modern San Francisco, right near the Transamerican Pyramid, and there's like a little plaque there.
Brothel boat.
I know people, for the last couple of years, and obviously I've been very excited about VR, a lot of people are very excited about VR, but the thing I keep saying is, you know, VR is going to be one of those things that wide adoption will really dictate what VR is good for. Everyone's scrambling to do VR now, and I think VR is great, but we obviously won't know until people start using it how it's really going to evolve with our culture. I've been saying AR is really, because that has the most real-world applications, AR. So, you know, what was the decision for you guys to focus more on the AR experience, and how do you feel like, where's that going?
Yeah, so anybody out there tried VR at this point? Oculus or So I think it's got a huge amount of potential, and you know, all the Hollywood studios are investing gobs of money to make VR experiences. So there's going to be some really compelling things that people do with it. From my point of view, I was kind of approaching it as a parent. I have 3 kids, high school, middle school at this point. And you know, I spend a lot of my time, along with my wife, of like trying to control screen time. Apps today are so compelling. Kids just want to sit in front of a screen all the time. And so, I don't know, I mean, VR kind of scares me a little bit in that, you know, if you close yourself off in a VR experience, it may be pretty appealing, but I don't know what the real consequences of that are in terms of maybe not interacting face-to-face with other people, or not going outside and getting exercise and things like that. So AR, on the other hand, is a way to enhance the things that we already do. And maybe like give us a little extra incentive to get out of the house and walk down to the park and avoid this dark future. So yeah, that was the technology set that appealed to me personally, and I think there's a huge amount of potential to use AR to make everything more fun. I mean, just to add a little bit more happiness and joy and intrigue and mystery to everyday life. So we're going down that road at Niantic.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we have a cultural responsibility to make sure that we don't get sucked in? Because, you know, the internet is we're all connected via the internet, but it's also very isolating, and also it takes a level of humanity out when you're interfacing with a machine and you're interfacing with text. And I think one of the great things about coming to San Diego is it is, you know, one of the few great in-person social experiences that a lot of us might have outside of the workplace throughout the year. So what responsibility do you think people have to, hey, you really need to like go out and interact with other people and connect with other humans?
Well, I don't think of it as a responsibility, but I mean, how many of you Go players out there have played with a friend or even met somebody new while you're playing the game? Just raise your hand. I mean, I think that's just an amazing experience, and it actually makes you feel good. Scientists have studied it, and interacting face-to-face with other human beings actually releases endorphins, and it makes you happy. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
I'm a Gen X person. I'm Gen X. I'm Grandpa Gen X already, and I meet, you know, I have friends who are millennials, and God bless you, millennials. Make eye contact when someone's talking to you. Just look them in the eye. It's all right. I talk to people sometimes and they're just like this and they won't, you know, and so I honestly, I hope that part of the AR experience will give everyone something that they need. It will give them this kind of real world interactivity. So was that really part of the underlying principle behind everything, and that's something more that you want to keep exploring?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we started kind of exploring that concept with an earlier game that we did called Ingress.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any Enlightened or Resistance members out there.
Enlightened!
Yeah. So that game's been going for 3 years and is bigger than ever at this point. In fact, after the GO launch, it shot up even higher. And we were trying to explore this idea of a game that encouraged movement, seeing the cool places in your neighborhood, and interacting socially with other people. And I mean, you guys are all here at Comic-Con, so you know what it's like to meet people who think about the same things as you do. You can strike up conversation. But then we go back home and we kind of go back to our normal lives, and it's a lot harder to do that. So we think of our games as kind of like a Comic-Con that's happening in your neighborhood sort of all the time, whenever you want it to. We have put on big events for Ingress. We just finished one in Tokyo last week where we had over 14,000 people attending live, so not nearly as big as Comic-Con. But you know, it is a joyful, exciting, fun experience to get together with other people, and I think games can do that. There's no reason we can't use games to cause that to happen spontaneously or in an organized fashion. You know, traditionally computer games and video games were played at home on a console just because the technology had to be plugged into the wall. And, you know, for a long time you needed to plug into the wall to even get internet. But now that we can carry all that around with us with smartphones and who knows what kinds of wearable devices or glasses will, you know, come in the future, that's all that can move around with us, and it can, instead of chaining us to, you know, our living room, it can enhance just going outside and being human beings and having fun.
Plugging into the wall for internet. It's like, I feel like the first 4 rows doesn't even know what dial-up is. Like, they don't even know. If you were like, hey, what's this? They'd be like, are you okay? They wouldn't know.
Historically.
Yeah. We used to connect to 2400 baud.
It's true.
Yeah, 14.4. Oh, all right, Your Highness. But Ingress, was Ingress the intentional backbone of Pokemon Go? Were you looking toward that, or did it kind of accidentally one lead to the other?
You know, it was a really strange experiment, and you know, we launched it inside of Google. Niantic for a long time was part of Google. We actually spun out as an independent company last year with support from Nintendo, the Pokemon company, and some other folks, Google as investors. But it was very experimental. We didn't know if it would work. We didn't know if people would like it. And so we created a fictional universe of exotic matter and portals. We cloaked it in an alternate reality game, which we actually unleashed here at Comic-Con 4 years ago, 5 years ago, with a panel being invaded by government agents. So it was our first run at building a game like this. The idea was, let's see what works, let's prove out the technology, and then let's make that platform available to build other kinds of games that would appeal to, you know, other segments of the market. So Ingress worked really well, and then we started thinking about, okay, how do we bring this experience that's bringing so much fun and joy to people, of meeting people in real life, getting a little bit more fit, how do we let even more people in on that kind of secret? And that is how we got to Pokemon Go.
I think the most amazing thing about it has been how quickly I've seen so many different people. I live near a hiking trail, a park, and there's a bunch of stops. And I'd never hiked up to the Griffith Observatory before, and I've lived in that neighborhood for years. And this was the first thing that got me to go hike. And when I got me to like rub the crust out of my eyes and be like, what is nature, you know? And so as I'm walking, I see by this stop, I see all these like 19-year-old teenagers, you know, just fully tatted up, like hardcore looking kids. I'm already like, get off my lawn. I'm already like, get off my lawn. But they're all playing, but then like 50 yards up the hill, it's, you know, like a couple in their 50s is playing, and I see people playing with their kids. And I see, you know, if you see on social media, everyone, like you guys have some screen caps of celebrity tweets from everyone who's been involved. Yeah, the Mr. Robot folks are playing, and I think Trevor Noah. Have you found? Oh, yeah. This was a great tweet, because this made me realize. This made me realize that the Pokemon spawns are regional, basically, because I wasn't getting bats. I'm like, oh my god, I would give. You can have 100 Sandshrews. I want one
friggin' Zubat would be great. What are you bitching about, Fallon? So they spawn in different regions, right? It really forces you to leave your community.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the world is, we try to populate Pokemon around the world just as if they were real species. We try to figure out, well, where would a Magikarp live? Well, they would probably live near water. So there's a lot of data behind the scenes that sort of goes into figuring out where Pokemon are going to exist. But yeah, in terms of the response that it got, it's been mind-blowing. We assumed the game would have some level of success just because Pokemon, and a huge credit to Nintendo. I think there are some Nintendo folks here in the audience, and the Pokémon Company that I'm about to shout out. That franchise has been around for 20 years. Pokemon celebrated its 20-year anniversary. There's a big Super Bowl ad, some of you may have seen it, for Pokemon to commemorate that. But they've taken such great care of that game and the environment around it, and such great care in nurturing it all these years. So we felt like bringing that together with our real-world gaming experience, we'd have some level of success. But I mean, it's been nuts. I had to fly to Japan for this Ingress event just as we were starting the global rollout, and I left most of my team behind here. So Ed, thank you. Phil, thank you. Tatsuo, Dennis. These people were sitting there, and the servers just got bombarded.
Right. What do you mean? I haven't had any problems. Worked like a charm right from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to give any numbers out, but we had a lot of, I mean, we worked at Google for a while. I mean, Google Maps is used by a lot of people, and there's some world-class technologists on our team, and a huge, amazing team at Google that were backing us up, the Google Cloud team, where our service lives. But we weren't provisioned for what happened, and so we had to add a bunch of servers, and then we had to figure out some bugs in our system that were created by that. But yeah, the team did an amazing job as this thing exploded. But yeah, it was surreal for me in Japan, kind of watching through social media, and my wife and other friends were saying, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? And yeah, when it showed up on Jimmy Fallon, it was like, wow, yeah, I guess yeah, it's something at this point.
Well, yeah, and the first couple of days, because I know I would see people get upset and be like, I can't get on, and I had trouble getting on too, and your team tweeted back at me, and they're like, we're working on it, and I just sort of understanding, you know, all of a sudden I was shouting at someone the way that people shout at me about things that I don't entirely control. I don't know who Negan killed, I don't. And so, you know, I understood, oh, well, they expected it to do well, but I don't think you can't predict this kind of viral quality to something. So I assume you guys were just like, what the shit? You know, like you're just trying to figure it out right away.
Totally calm. Ice cold. No, there was a little excitement running around the office for sure. But for us, more than anything, as you mentioned, just to go out in the street. I mean, we had that experience. I had it in my neighborhood. Our local park was flooded with middle schoolers and high schoolers playing Pokemon Go. People walking the streets of San Francisco. It's so amazing to see, and you know, I credit that. The game is the game, but the game's really an excuse to go outside and walk around and see your city and have fun with other people, and that's the cool part, I think.
But it's already created. You know, whenever I go to a stop, I see other people there, I instantly have something to talk to them about. Hey, did you find this? Did you catch this? How are you guys doing? And I go to this diner every morning for breakfast, and there's a dude, a real hard-looking dude who kind of seats people, and he's like shaved head. He just looks hard. He just looks like a, you know, dude. He's a hard dude. I'm not. I'm feeble, and so I'm eating, but I'm kind of playing at the same time because I just drop lures at the stops across from the diner, and then I just rake them in. You know, always drop a lucky egg, double up the XP, and then just like level up. You know, I'll buy the eggs because I have a good job and I don't care. I'll just buy them. I'll just buy like 1,000 eggs. Like I don't give a shit. I'll use them.
By the way, if this feels unrehearsed, it's because yesterday we were supposed to practice this, and Chris spent the first 10 minutes catching a Pikachu. So.
Oh, you know why? The Pikachu showed up the second you walked in the room. I was like, you're magic!
But this is supposed to rehearse.
But this dude, what do can't rehearse these. This dude at the diner, he saw me playing and he looked around and he goes, hey man, there's a shit ton of Pokemon at Santa Monica Pier. And I'm like, oh my God, you know? And we'd never said 2 words to each other, and now this guy and I like have a friend, like we bonded over this. So, and I don't know if you guys saw this from the State Department. Did you see this from the State Department? There was a press conference, and he said to the reporter in the front row, you're playing the Pokemon thing right there, aren't you? And the reporter goes, I'm just gonna keep it open. And later on in the conference, the guy goes, did you catch him? He was like, yeah, so. But beyond that, I mean, beyond just the fact that it's entertainment, there are real health benefits and there's real social value to what's happening. I know the Guardian called it a national health service. They said, what makes Pokemon Go irresistible is that it's basically a good old-fashioned treasure hunt crossed with a fairy tale, adding up to that parenting holy grail, an excuse to go out in the fresh air and move. So it's actually helping people exercise, do better for their health. Was that something you had planned?
Well, I had done some reading when we were first starting up the group about, and for me personally, I was in a real high-stress job for those 7 years when we were building Google Maps. I mean, you could imagine all the craziness around that as that product kind of exploded and Google and so on. And I was just personally trying to get more relaxed in my life, and I was reading about ways to do that. And as it turns out, walking actually has huge amounts of benefit for you physiologically and mentally. There have been a number of studies about this. There's a great book called Spark about this. It actually makes you smarter, so you think better whenever after you walk. Helps your brain function. That's why a lot of scientists are sort of known for taking long walks in the woods and when they're trying to solve hard problems. So we had this idea that if we could incorporate a little bit of that into the app, that people would probably like it. But we certainly didn't want to advertise that as a fitness app or something of that nature. And
right.
I've got kids. You don't tell your kids that it's good for them. You give them something that tastes good, and it also happens to be good for them. So yeah, we just thought we could roll it in and it would make a really fun product to incorporate that. But it's been great to see. I mean, I've got a 10-year-old who, he loves to play Minecraft like every other 10-year-old in the world. And he's begging his mom to go out on 5-kilometer walks and 10-kilometer walks to hatch his eggs. So my wife's very happy about that, and that's a good thing.
But beyond the exercise benefits, I know it's also been used as a mental health aid for emotional support in hospitals. They're starting to use it therapeutically to work with children. I know it's been especially helpful for autism and people who work around it. But you guys have a video, a quick little video.
Yeah, this was cool.
So this probably wasn't something that you foresaw when you were designing this. It would be a therapeutic tool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not doctors and we didn't think about it from that point of view, but from the standpoint of us and the team back at Niantic, and again, everybody on the team, thank you. People have been working 24/7. The thing that gets people out of bed and people, tell this to me practically every day, the thing that motivates them to put so much into working on their product and keeping the servers up and running is to hear back stories like that people are using the product in ways that we never expected, and it's having a benefit out there that's bigger than just playing a game. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would encourage, I would imagine that when you release something like this, you just don't know how people are going to ultimately, use every corner of the app and every corner of the service. So I guess if people are discovering different ways to utilize the app and the service, I assume they should just share that with you, tweet that at you guys, let you know, send videos, send stories?
Yeah, please do. If it's bringing you, brings you to a good experience socially or exercise or whatever, share it. It's a great positive cycle. I don't need to tell you guys, there's a lot of negative stuff going on in the world right now. All you have to do is watch the evening news. And I don't know, maybe part of the reason that people embrace Pokemon Go this summer is because of that. There's just a lot of dark stuff out there, and it's a bright spot, for the reasons I mentioned. I'm not trying to hype the game so much as to say the things it's encouraging people to do, which is hang out with other people and go outside, get to know your neighbors, meet new folks. those are the actions that are going to get us as a society through the period that we're going through right now. So share it, absolutely.
I don't think anyone would discount that seeing a Jigglypuff automatically makes them happy. It's, oh my God! I had people at the comedy show the other night who were tweeting pictures of different Pokemon that were on the stage instead. But it was great to, it's just been a really great way to immediately connect. And also, Pokemon was this game put me in the really wonderful position of having to explain to two women in a yogurt shop that I was not photographing their children. Because I've turned my AR off now, like when I'm in stores or restaurants, because I just noticed I was doing this, and people were like, what? So, are there other suggestions that you guys have? Are there other things that you maybe have coming up, or Easter eggs or anything about the game that you would share with people? Is there anything else?
Well, there are a lot of Pokemon. Pokemon Company has been working on crafting this amazing universe for so long, as I mentioned. And I mean, to your point about making you happy, the characters are just fantastic. And you know, that's to the creativity and care that's gone into that, into making them by the Pokemon Company. So there are a certain set of Pokemon that are available in the game right now. They appear in certain places. They like to live in certain habitats. There's some rare ones that haven't shown up yet that probably will show up. And beyond first gen Pokemon, there are other Pokemon that might make their way into our universe. So that's something that we're looking forward to, finding interesting ways to make that happen over the coming months and years. I know a lot of people are interested in trading. For those of you that, if you played, you know, the Game Boy version, the Game Boy Advance version, the DS version, trading, cable, you hook up, you trade. That's really awesome. I mean, that's a great kind of social thing. It's a reason to talk to somebody, strike up a conversation. So that's not in Pokemon Go today, but it is something that we are working on bringing to that product. But don't get too excited, because we have to like kind of make sure the servers are going to stay up before we can work too hard on that. And there's some other things. I'm working on gyms and Pokestops. I see lures everywhere, like in the park across the street. You know, I was in Old Town last night. There were lures on almost every Pokestop down there. So we think that's a pretty cool idea, that you can find an object, acquire an object that's going to change the functionality of a Pokestop and give it new capabilities. There aren't Pokemon centers in the game right now. There's some other functionality that we want to bring to it, probably through the ability to customize Pokestops along with your friends and teammates to kind of build up an area for your gameplay.
Right. So the gyms aren't really the last stop. There's more to come. There's more to do and more things to do with them beyond that. Yeah. I mean, Ingress has been running for 3 years. It's an MMO. Pokemon Go we look at as an MMO, meaning this is it's a massively multiplayer online game that we expect to run for years, and we're going to continue to invest in it in that way, extending the functionality, adding new Pokemon, adding new capabilities throughout the product. So we're excited. We got probably a tenth of the ideas that we had when we kicked this thing off 2 years ago into the initial release. So, and we're obviously getting flooded with lots of great ideas coming in from the community. So it's just the beginning. Absolutely.
Can I pitch just a dumb idea? Can I just pitch one idea?
Why not, Chris?
Okay, good.
Here we are.
Right. What are you gonna do? Say no? There's 7,000 people. He's gonna be like, no, I don't want to hear it. I would love to, because sometimes when I come back home, there's not really anything in the neighborhood that I live in. Because I live near a bunch of old people who don't like anything, and where their joy is gone. Maybe I should give them a game. And I just sort of feel like it'd be really cool to have like a home gym. Like I could just create a private home gym where I could just try, like maybe it doesn't affect any numbers, but it's just sort of like a practice gym, so that I can at least engage with the game when I'm sitting at home. I know the goal is to get out. But sometimes when I'm just not around other people and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I need my fix, man.
How are you doing with the fitness thing? Are you pretty buff? Or?
Yeah, I wouldn't, above is not a word I would ever use near me, but I do exercise because I'm in my 40s now, and this is where it all shit falls apart, so I do exercise, but I've not done the kind of cardio. I mean, I'm legitimately hiking, and I was not a hiker before.
Yeah, I mean, I was just asking because, I mean, there are some people out there who, like after dinner, that they would go out for a walk, and
Yeah.
visit some Pokestops or gyms,
Well,
so.
I mean, LA, I don't know, it's a little dicey about running around the street. LA, what's interesting is LA, is anyone here from LA? LA? Not a pedestrian culture. Not a pedestrian culture. There's that joke in LA Story where Steve Martin drives a block, like 4 houses. And that really is indicative of LA culture, but I've actually seen people out on the streets on this scavenger hunt, basically.
Yeah.
Has kind of breathed sort of new community into Los Angeles, legitimately.
I mean, I know Ingress players have colonized LA everywhere from downtown to Venice, Santa Monica, everywhere in between, and gone into these spaces, frankly, that have been in large part abandoned by pedestrians. I don't know. I mean, I don't live in LA. I live in San Francisco, but I visit LA a lot, and I used to go down there frequently because Google has an office down there. And I feel like LA is really starting to transform itself and to take back parts of the city that kind of got left behind by the car culture that took over 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So yeah, with the subway now connecting downtown to the beach, which is awesome. I think there's plenty of opportunities in LA to get out and explore all the amazing little pockets in that city. So yeah, maybe you're not going to walk everywhere, but you can certainly go, you can check out Little Tokyo and all the cool stuff down there. It'd be a great trip to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I think since when I was a kid and I would go to arcades, and if you wanted to learn how to get better at a game, you had to watch someone else play it, like Dragon's Lair or something, where someone would go, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta jump him this way, like Dirk, you gotta jump him this way, and that's how I would learn, and that has not happened. I would always go to the internet for hacks and trying to figure out stuff, but just walking around and people go, oh yeah, here's how you throw a curveball, and I spent a day going, crap, damn it, crap. But I figured it out by talking to another person.
You gotta spin.
You gotta spin.
You gotta spin.
Have you guys confirmed any of the sort of Easter eggy things? Did you officially confirm the EV name hack?
Yeah, so anybody got any EVs out there? Holy cow. So yes, if you name your EV properly, you can control how it's going to evolve. There might be a few other Easter eggs buried in there yet to be discovered.
Excellent. Whoa, and the crowd went sour.
3, 4,
Hold him down until he says it! The other great thing, you talked about this a little bit with Ingress, but also having Pokemon Go, we had noticed some of our team just did a very last minute, hey, let's meet up and just do a walk around the Santa Monica Pier, which again, I heard is, has tons of, 300 people showed up out of nowhere. So how have the Pokemon meetups been doing around the world? You guys monitoring that? How have they been?
Yeah, well, obviously they weren't planned, and people just started doing them. The ones in Central Park, and like Justin Bieber's running through the streets of Manhattan to play Pokemon Go, which I thought was interesting. But there was one in San Francisco that happened on Wednesday, and somebody just put it on their Facebook page, not really knowing what would happen, and 9,000 plus people said they'd come, and I think many thousands of people actually did show up. I walked out of our office. Our servers were down part of that day, by the way, and the team was working. It was tense. They were working right up until a half hour before the event was supposed to kick off to get our servers back online. They got them online, and thousands of people descended on the streets of San Francisco and marched all the way from the Mission to downtown to the Embarcadero. It was amazingly cool.
I think at some point in San Francisco, you guys have to do some kind of PokeCon or something,
PokeCon.
PokeCon.
Anybody up for that?
PokeCon. I feel like we could probably open up the floor for a couple of questions that people might have. We could just take a couple of questions.
did I summon? Was there a video or something you wanted to show, or did you just want everyone to break out into a dance party? Everybody dance! Nice job, nice job. I see the dancing. I see you down there. What is your name and question? Oh, okay. We need to get on the same page. Every time you're about to ask, are you summoning the music? Okay. What? I don't trust what's happening. What is your name?
My name's Sophia, and I was kind of wondering, after we get sorted out with the glitches and somebody had our stuff maybe comes online, maybe we'll be reading in the game?
Reading in the game. Oh. Thanks. That music kicks back in.
Of Pokemon. Interesting idea. It's not immediately, it's not like we've been working on that and it's about to come out, but I think it's a cool idea. There's been some discussion about it, so we'll take that as a great suggestion.
All right. Hello.
Hi,
Hey man, what's your name?
EJ.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yes, I'm your mother. I asked you to stay at home so mommy could play Pokemon with the grown-ups.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So my question is, I've heard about the. Sorry. Training. Just give me a moment. Training in Pokemon Go. So when is the training update gonna come?
Okay.
Oh, this is right to the point.
Yeah, I know. The giggling assassin. Giggle, giggle, giggle. When do I get my thing?
I mean, I teased it and I said we're going to do it, but
Yeah.
he wants the date.
He wants something.
It's got a future as a
Yeah.
project manager.
I absolutely.
Date.
Oh, if he starts laughing, you better run.
I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have a date for you. We're working really hard to keep the servers up and running. We're working on it, but it's going to take a little bit longer. I don't have an exact date, but it's at the top of our priority list. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Thank you. What's your question?
My question is, do the three legendary birds, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, have something to do with the three teams that you choose when you get to level 5?
Very insightful question.
Yeah, they're kind of aligned with those teams, and we got a little, might share something with you about the teams in a little bit.
Good questions from the kids. How we the children of future. I decided long ago. What is your name?
Hello, I'm Winter.
Hi, Winter.
I was wondering if the movesets of a pre-evolved Pokemon have anything to do with the movesets of the Pokemon after they evolve.
You're gonna have to dial up the Pokemon helpline on that one.
Yeah, it is. The answer is yes. What is your name?
Hi there, I'm Adrian. First off, this panel wasn't started off correctly. Let's go Team Valor! Sorry, team mistake. Anyways, my question is...
I didn't hear anything.
My question is, so I keep reading online, legendaries that are going to be popped out during special events. Is Comic-Con 2016 in, what is this, Hall H, a special
What is
event?
this? Typical Valor. Where are we? What day is it? How do I? Valor. What was your question? You were saying that other legendary, other Pokemon turn up at the events like these?
Yes.
Just like today.
Yeah.
Asking.
Yeah.
Any chance?
Any chance
Any chance of?
of other legendary Pokemon turning up at events like today?
Pokemon turning up at events like today.
Yeah, like special, anything special for events like this?
If I could summon a Pokemon for you right now, I would, man. But in the future, we.
People, please!
Come on, man.
We're just two human beings! Get a hold of yourselves! Get a hold of yourselves!
We're working hard. We haven't rolled the game out everywhere yet, so everybody's working real hard on getting the game rolled out. We just came up in Japan a few days ago. We're adding countries every day, so.
The game literally only just came out. The game only just came out. I mean, it feels like, what do you want?
So we're gonna get there, but there's no new Pokemon today, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Oh, you'll just have to enjoy the game you've already been enjoying.
I may need like security to get me out of here at this point. Hopefully there's a escape tunnel.
I don't know, I'm gonna run. I can't protect you. I'm not strong. What about you? We'll take one more question.
Hello, my name's Robert. Team Valor once again. Sorry you made the mistake of running low,
But I have a keychain. You don't have a keychain.
I got the stickers. I got all the gyms in Imperial Beach, level 26. But my question is are they actually going to do something about poaching gyms? Because there's nothing like sitting there, taking out someone's level 8 gym by yourself, and then they get to put a Pokemon down before I can. I think we should get like 30, maybe 60 seconds to be able to place a Pokemon if you take the gym. It's not fair to get other people to put stuff down. Poaching is not good. Douche move. Douche move.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you guys got the message. Don't poach. It's not nice.
Yeah.
It's not in the spirit of Pokemon Go.
And Team Mystic doesn't like to hear Valor whining
It's actually
about
a good
things.
idea. We should, your point is acknowledged. We should help you out. So thank you for pointing out that challenge in the group.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked yesterday for a while, and the idea is that, again, the game really has just launched, and so I know there's a laundry list of things that they have to get through and a laundry list of things, suggestions, and I mean, it's gonna roll out, like things are gonna roll out over time, which I think is what is great about, the game hasn't peaked yet. It seems like it's only just started and there's so much further to go. What?
Fix the first step! The tracker!
Oh, the 3-step bug?
Yeah!
We're aware of that one. We are aware of that one. I heard about it on this interweb thing.
People are angry on the internet? I don't believe it. Show me.
Should we got a little something? Should we?
We should maybe show a little something. I mean, I say we like I had anything to do with this. I didn't. I'm a chimp in a vest. Like I'm not really. I'm a manky in a vest.
All right. Let's do that. What do we got? All right. So let's hear it. All right. So let's bring up. We're debuting for you here the leadership of Team Mystic. So you've only seen these guys as silhouettes in the current product. So, because maybe we didn't get quite finished before launch day. Maybe. So Blanche for Team Mystic is going to be introduced. This is going to be part of the product. Blanche. Yeah. Okay.
Who else?
Let's see what else we got. let's see the leadership for Instinct. Spark. Yeah, okay. Spark.
And finally, do you have to show the other one?
Is there any? There's no Valor people here.
I haven't heard any Valor people.
So let's see, what do we got here?
So these are the team captains, and they're going to be available in the game soon.
Dispensing advice, and you'll be hearing from them in a variety of ways.
So before we leave, and first of all, I want to thank you for coming to Comic-Con, and obviously, I know this is a lot, and I know people are hitting you with a lot of questions. When am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? It's all coming. I think you guys are going to be very happy for years to come. Do you have any tips or anything to leave everyone with before we leave? Is there any last words or any parting wisdom?
Always spin. Always spin. Use the lucky eggs. And but in all seriousness, keep in mind the spirit of the game. Play with your friends. Have fun. See your city. Get some exercise. And above all, be safe out there when you're playing. Thank you all for letting us come here and be with you today. Thank you.
Yes. On behalf of everyone, thank you for Pokemon Go, and thank you for forcing me to get outside and talk to other people in real life. And thank you guys. I mean, I know I tease the other teams, but it's meant out of love, and I've really enjoyed playing with you, and I will see you out there. My username is it's 2 V's, HARDVVICK, because some other jerk had Hardwick before I could get to it the first day. So hopefully I'll see you out there, and thanks so much for coming. Thanks to John Hanke, thanks to Niantic and Nintendo, and this is my last panel. Thank you so much for being with me.